Check. Pasha Pyro, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. All right. So, I hope you guys had a great day. I hope you guys had a great day today. You know what I mean? It's a Monday. You know, all of that stuff just bleed together for me. I don't know about you. It's just day and night, but it's always the perfect day. So, hopefully got your chips together. You know, big board pep for my peeps. I want you guys to, if you have not already, identify your trading style. I mean, do you want to play, just put it in and leave it, or do you want to play the in and out game? Or are you wanting to play a combination of both? You know, I know there's people out there that are interested in wanting to do this full time. There's many people just like you, myself included. I think if you're in a position where you can't do it full time, it's perfect to learn the techniques, the skills, to get used to it, so you can get used to it. You can develop what you need so that by the time this is what your bread and butter is totally, you have become well versed. You know, you're comfortable with, you have experience basically. You know what I'm saying? Many of you have are employed or self-employed even, and you feel like you don't have the time to totally dedicate to it, and that's a gift and a curse. Like, everything is based off your perspective. So instead of finding something wrong with that, take a moment and find what's right with it. And what's right with it is it gives you the opportunity to, again, develop your skills, develop your experience, while not having the stress of depending upon being successful right out the box. And I think that's good with any business. You know, I'm a fan, you know the channel. Welcome to the channel. But, you know, what I promote is to remove the emotion from things, right? Which is kind of really important in stocks. So when you go to start a business, even a regular business, if you have researched in the beginning that the average entrepreneur, it took them 3 to 8 years, right? Or 5 to 8 years, something like that, right? Yeah, 5 to 8 years to actually get to the point where they could walk away from what was serving them their investment capital originally. So doing some things in branding and business for people, you know, I get to tell a lot of people that, because they got this idea when they go downtown and sign up and start their logo. We're going to get into something in a second here. I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Hang in there. This is for, remember, I talk to people that's new because they need to hear some stuff. I talk to people that's in the middle, and I talk to people that's more experienced, and I'm looking to learn from people that have different perspectives than I do as well. So here we go. So sometimes, and tell me if you've ever looked at it like this or what your thoughts are, but some people go downtown and they sign that document that say they starting a business, and they feel like now it started. And that's not true. You know what I mean? Like, you got it on paper, but you don't have it. Many people don't have it together at that point in time. And the frustration they find is because they did that and then 2 months later, they haven't found the success that they thought they were, so they start to cave to the peer pressure. The people tell them, I told you not to get involved with that stuff. I told you weren't going to be nothing in your life, all that stuff. And I need you to know that your mama lied when she told you you weren't going to be worth nothing. Because if you approach it in the beginning, when knowing that it could take you 5 to 8 years, see, because in reality, you're going to start that business from scratch. You're going to run out there. You're going to do some things, and you're going to learn some stuff. You're going to have to learn some stuff. You're going to learn what you didn't even know to think about before. Life is going to happen. You're going to have to go deal with that. You may have to put the business down for 2 weeks and then go back to it. Stuff like that. So months may go by before you take the next step. Weeks may go by before you take the next step sometimes. And if you're allowing externally influenced by emotion, you may get depressed because you feel like you're not accomplishing your goals. And especially if you're listening to other people that don't know what it takes to do anything that you're doing. Right? So they had their opinions, but you got to stay focused. And what happens is you realize that it took the average entrepreneur 5 to 8 years because you had to build something. You had to learn something new next week. And then maybe you realize, shit, I didn't realize that. I got to learn this part. I didn't think about that before. Okay. But then you still got to go to work. You still got to go do this. You still got to go do that. So do you not make time to learn what you just realized you need to know? That's why a year later you're sitting there with no business and no nothing, because you never took the time to go beyond your tradition. You see, we tied this into the last video. So what I'm getting at is, learn something new. You got it. People learn differently. Some people gonna put everything else aside and sit down and grind out that knowledge and then find a way to practice and then bring it into reality of what they're doing. Some people going to chip away at it a little bit here, a little bit there. So maybe it takes you a weekend if you're person A. Maybe if you're person B, just getting your head around that new idea or new technique might take you 2 months. So that's 2 months you had to sit aside. You didn't work on the business because you was like, fuck, I got to look at this right. So you had to live life, had to go to work, had to do this. And you took 2 months and you got yourself together. So one person may take a weekend for what it takes another person 2 months. But it's all about the destination, because if you agree to the destination, you'll overcome all obstacles. You see what I'm saying? So I know a lot of you are interested in this. Just like any other business, just like any other way to better yourself. You got to put the work in. So, you set yourself up, you come in, the market opens, 5-10 minutes later, you up $500, click the button, go home. Why are you hanging in there for? Like get your $400 or $500 a day and be done with it. You just made $500 in 10 minutes. It would have I remember there was a time where it would have took me all week to do that. So what are you doing now? Like what are the expectations that you have? What are you looking to do with this? All right. So decide who you want to be or who you actually are. You can dump in long term, cross your fingers, or you can make strikes like the Air Force. You know what I'm saying? The choice is yours. Katos. Check out that video. They got the drones. All right. So now the reason I'm excited is because, like I said, when I came back into this, it was in this fashion. Like I've had my mind around it. Again, here we go. Like I said, take your time. When it's your time, it's your time. All right. So take your time. I've had my mind around stocks for 2 decades. I spent some years in my early 20s doing it. We already talked about that. We got all that hashed out. And I got, you come back around this time, you're not really worried about it. You just throw it in some mutual funds for some years. But that's how so maybe you're looking for a way to, okay, I don't have, you don't have the money. All right. You feel like you don't have the money. So maybe you take some time where you're just dumping into a mutual fund and letting that grow while you're living life, maybe, or maybe you're taking that same time and you're paper trading, practicing, whatever it is. Maybe you take a few years, 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is for you, and just let that pool build up. And then when you get ready to start executing it for yourself, you've got a pool to pull from, instead of feeling stressed and trying to be on, I don't know, whatever it is, that app, and you're making trades off of there with a couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Not that there's nothing wrong with that. But when you look at what you're getting back for your time and energy, you're going to have the same stress executing the trades, whether you get $5 back or 500. It's the same stress and skill and everything. So timing is everything. Take your time. Check out the video on the YNet 7 channel about take your time. All right. So we're going to get into today's stock, because for me, like I said, I came back into it in this fashion, learned a couple things, and I've been executing them well. Looking to learn more, and every now and then you get something that shows you that you're on the right direction. So when I'm making these videos, it's like I said, it's my log. You know what I mean? It's the digital version of what my notes would be to myself. All right. So what happened was, so when I make a call, oh, by the way, Neo went to $40, like I said, because there was a lot of people last week talking big about how crazy I was. I must be on something, the whole nine, those Neo fanatics. I mean, I was in Neo too, but it started going down. What do you want me to do? Keep losing, you know what I mean? Hit 58, I got out at 55. We're going to see what it do later. So what it is, when I solve an equation and I'm like, this is the equation, and it becomes reality, it's just proof of concept. So if anything, what that should do is it should start to, if you had any doubts or you had any questions in you before about your capabilities, it should start to let you, it should start to build your confidence, right? So today what we have is the stock Dare, right? DARE. And this is a moment where it wasn't a price prediction. It was a significance prediction. You see, because there's different components to being successful if you want to do this daily. And by all means, I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm not a professional. You see, it says up there for entertainment purposes only. All right. So, but I'm okay with having, I don't really deal with opinions. Like normally if I'm saying something, like it's a science. It's like, you know what I mean? It's to that point, or else I don't really spend a lot of time on it, because the truth is, and everything else could be. You know what I mean? I like to deal with the truth, which gives me, anyway, let's not get distracted. So Dare, the reason why this was interesting is because I put in some research. Let's review the card real quick. The P.E.P closed at $1.16, and right now it wants to get back to $1.31. So right there, that's 15 cents for you per share. So if you just throw 1,000 on this, I'm not telling you to do that. At some point, I can't tell you exactly when either, but with this one, because I don't have a nice set of parameters that I would be like by Tuesday. That's just me saying that, because I'm gonna keep it real with you 100% of the time. When I have the tools that I need in place on the chart or the history to narrow it down, I'm gonna let you know. But what I can tell you is that it wants to go back to 131, right? And it has a volatility about 9.5%. So, it's got some energy, but it's not crazy, which is good because you can identify its movement and know when to get in and get out. So the P.E.P, we was in it, I was in it. It's just me, really. I keep saying we. One day I'm gonna have a team, and we're gonna do this on a larger scale. So the P.E.P was in and out. I got out December 4th when it went from 152 to 150, and that was in anticipation of the drop. See, because this has a history of doing that, which is not a bad thing if you time it right. So, see, I got out on the 4th at 150. It went from 152 to 150. I got out. Then I got back in on the 11th at 119. So it dropped a couple cents, no big deal. But here's why. The reason I'm excited is because I was into this stock since the end of November, right? And I got out, I let it drop. I'm back in because, not to say it won't go down a couple more cents, but it should be at its low, and it should be ready to go back to 150, which would be a whole 30-cent move. But I know it wants to at least get back to 131. So you figure if you had that same rack or stack and you put, or 1,000, and you put that down on it and it goes 30 cents, you see what I'm saying? You got 300 right there. So here's what I was excited about today. And this is the Virgo excitement of like doing backflips, jumping up and down. This is what we look like, because we're probably not, I don't display the emotion like that, but I tell you I'm excited, and all of what you feel excitement is contained in that word when I say excitement. So all of these people came out today like this, CNN Business and all this stuff, right? The 14th, and said they feel that the stock price has a target of as low as $3, a median of $5, and a high of $9 a share within the next 12 months. And honestly, I don't really care about that. I don't really care that CNN Business said it's going to go to $3 to $9, right? What I'm excited about is they're 15 days behind my interest in it, or actually more. You see what I'm saying? So to me, that tells me where I lack knowledge of, you could say 2 months ago. You see? But this is why people feel like I cut them off or I shut them off. It's because I have things to do to get to where I'm going. So 2 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to sit here and say, hey, I'm great. I'm getting ready to tell you why. We didn't even get to the why part yet. I'm getting ready to tell you why. This is just like we're building up to it. It's getting to the climax, right? I'm getting ready to tell you why I was into this and why I'm into it and why I think some people are going to look into this. So now I have come from, or this is not the first time it happened, but this was one of the most interesting ones for me, because for them to claim that it's going to go from $1 to, it's a high, I mean, it's an estimate, to 9, it's pretty significant. You know, it's almost a 10x, right? And not that I put the 10x value on it when I looked at it, but I knew it had a lot of potential. I'm going to get into that in a moment. Stay with me. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Click that notification bell and give one person that you know an opportunity to share this information with you by sharing a video. So if you're now 2 to 3 weeks ahead of the quote unquote analysts, it shows your growth in your research department, because anybody can click a button and just throw money at a stock. But do you know why you're doing it? You see what I'm saying? Like, I know it's a lot of people that are disappointed in Pfizer. Let me see. Hold on a second. Because I know biotech went down like 20% when I was looking at it. But see, I was already out. Because by the time the action happens, the news come, you got to learn in the market that you buy the hype and sell the news. So the money's being made in the build up. Normally, or a lot of times, by the time it takes place, everybody's selling. So it's not that your thought process don't make sense. It's just that you're behind the curve. So Pfizer was down $2, basically $1.91 a share today. Biotech was down $19. Biotech was down $19 a share today. So, for example, if I had not known what I was doing, at least on the level, not to say you never get caught out there ever, you know what I mean? But when you kind of learn some stuff, you even when you take a little fall, common slip and fall on your bad day, you know what I mean? You have the confidence and skill to build yourself back up and get that back. You know what I'm saying? Like the songs used to say back in the 90s, you know, I'm gonna spend that today, I'm gonna get it right back. So see, when you have the right thought process about what you're doing, the likelihood that you can avoid situations before they even occur because you saw it, or be at the right place at the right time because you saw it ahead of time, that likelihood increases. So there's gonna be people in your life when you're doing stuff like this, or you're starting a business, or you're working on yourself, that's not gonna understand why you just disappear. But it's because you either had to not be there at a certain time that you knew was coming, or you had to be somewhere else at the right time because you knew something was coming. So when I see stuff like this, I get excited because, and I think you should get excited too when you're doing this in your life, because it shows you proof of concept. It shows you that what you're working on, what you're developing, you're getting better at it. You were on this the better of 3 weeks before the professionals came out and released this information. Now here's why. Let's get to why. Okay, that's enough of that talk. So when you go and you Google Dare BioScience, right? You get the normal Google stuff. Now, I got this joke that I'm like, you know, regular people go to the casino and they gamble. Conspiracy theorists go to the stock market. Right? Like, if you got people that's calling you conspiracy theorists, you might need to get you an investment account. All right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're naturally tuned probably to what it takes to have some success. I ain't gonna guarantee you nothing. Right. But here's what I'm getting at. So when you go in, I talk to people and I'm like, yo, They great put chips in there. Everybody's joking about getting put chips in them and stuff. But I was like, nah, they actually got this tech coming that's gonna be like little robots, little nanotechnology bots, and it's gonna be able to deliver medicine and all kinds of stuff. And on the flip side of the coin, it could be used for anything that could be used for good, could be used for evil. We already know that. So it's a gift and a curse, like everything else. So, the same thing that could be used, like I said, nanotech goes into your body, does what it do, saves your life. It could be used on the battlefield, drop from an airplane, people breathe it in, and it kill them. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of the situation. So let's not pretend to know that we know everything, because we don't know what we don't know. All right? But here's the interesting thing. When you get into, now I've already done it, you can do this on your own, but I'll save you a little time. BioScience, Dare BioScience, one of their subsidiaries is right here. And it acquired them. And their name is MicroChips. Right? And if you go and check out what MicroChips is, MicroChips, innovative drug delivery technology, is designed to store and precisely deliver hundreds of therapeutic doses over months or years in a single implant. The implant is intended to be operated by the patient to deliver medication on demand or on a predetermined schedule that can be activated or deactivated wirelessly as required. Can you say 5G? Like, the future of medicine is going to be, for those that are into medicine, and I know some of us prefer holistic approaches. That's not this conversation. So, the future, right, is going to be, they can put an implant in this person today. Instead of giving you a prescription that you got to go to the drugstore and keep refilling. And they can set a timer, or they can push the button remotely based on levels. So now you see how these other businesses that are coming up with let's say the online doctor thing, where you got the little screen and you meet your doctor on the screen and you talk to him on your computer instead of going to the actual doctor. And then depending on the severity of some of some of the patients they may either have them hooked up to like little monitors that are relaying the information to them remotely, continuously, right? So now imagine that there's a program that you're going to be able to hook, which is a gift and a curse, I know, but there's a program that person that has that whatever disease is going to be able to hook up this other little monitor nanobot, and it's going to be able to wirelessly connect to 5G wherever you're at in the world, and consistently or continuously monitor your vitals, and it'll be able to say, oh, whatever it is getting low, administer a dose. Boop. And the dose will automatically be administered to you by AI. Gift and a curse. I know. Danger, Will Robinson. So, and you'll never have to think about it. Remember it. Remember to take your meds. Worry about overdosing, any of that, in theory. So you got some interesting names with this. So with the support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, in the form of approximately $17.9 million in grant funding to date, and the potential for up to an additional $2.5 million in grant funding in 2020, MicroChips has been developing an implantable, long-acting, reversible, and in this case, contraceptive application of the technology. Because a lot of what there is on the surface is like woman applications and, whatever. Whatever, however you feel about that, right? It is what it is. They need their stuff and they got their unique approach to it. But in the undertow of all the, what may be a weird conversation, that's not why I'm interested in them. I'm interested in them because of this right here. You see? Never mind whatever else they got going on. Because look at, like I said, that name right there. This foundation is really big in what y'all are looking for as these COVID pandemic stuff. So what happens if they tomorrow come out and say, hey, we got this all figured out, this microchip thing, boom, right in time for the worldwide need of vaccine distribution. The potential is there. Or even if it misses the pandemic and comes out, whatever, 2 years from now. I mean, whatever it is, you're not gonna miss 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000. This would be a cool spot just to dump it in and just let it sit, so that while you executing stuff on your day to day, this is in the background. And one day you wake up to like a 40x off of your investment because of something as simple as complex, but as simple as being able to administer doses remotely. Okay. So now, Dare BioScience is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company committed to the advancement and innovation of products in women's health. Like I said, that's on the surface to me. The company's mission is to identify, develop, and bring to market a diverse portfolio of differentiated therapies that expand treatment options, improve outcomes, and facilitate convenience for women, primarily in the areas of contraception, vaginal health, sexual health, and fertility. So this is the key right here for me. Microchips. So to see that being my reason for getting into it almost a month ago and just waiting, and then to see this come out today, I think you might want to look into it. Pasha Pyro, Y97. Thank you for tuning the replay. Go get you some Dare.